Does collecting make us stronger? There's this stereotype out there that if you collect action figures as an adult, then you're immature or it's childish or it's silly, that it's something that we're supposed to grow out of. But the truth is, collecting hasn't made me childish. It's made me stronger. Stronger in the way that I think of myself, how I stick with things, and how I connect with people. And this video is just about that. It's about how collecting, something that's so often looked down on, can actually shape you into a more grounded, confident, and capable person. Stick around. We turn criticism into confidence. Let's keep it 100 for a minute. If you've been collecting for any amount of time, then you probably heard some version of this. Why are you still into toys? Aren't you too old for that? You know what I would do if I had all of this money? And at some point, maybe you start to ask yourself the same thing too when it starts to resonate in your head. But over time, something changes. We stop defending it and we stop needing to explain it. We just start to own it. That confidence right there doesn't just happen overnight, but when it does, it sticks with us. We turn that outside noise into our own voice almost. We stop worrying about what doesn't matter. And that shift right there, that's growth. That's powerful. Let me tell you something about the critics, especially the nobody asked you critics. Most of them are hypocritical. The truth of the matter is that we all have vices and we all make exceptions for things that we like to do. Collecting has made me understand that not everybody is going to understand what I do. And that's perfectly fine. Just don't jump out of pocket and start giving me your unwanted opinions. The thing is, a lot of people just can't do that. Can I talk about some of these people real quick? Because these are the type of people that I've come across while I've been collecting. Most women in general are like, are you still into toys? You know, I find it fascinating that women especially have the heart to tell us what a waste of money is. Most of the things that women spend their money on are things that should be natural and should be free. How much of their money goes into their hair? We already know. How much is Shorty paying for acrylic nails? Shorty is like 50 years old and her fingertips are all bedazzled and she wants to talk to me about not growing up. 3 days later, that same woman is sitting on somebody's couch just chewing her nails off. You know what I would do if I had all this money? Bro, you had all this money. You just spent it on Uber Eats and cigarettes. Let's just put that out there. I personally know so many people that order Uber Eats 3, 4, sometimes every day of the week. I literally see people paying $50 for lunch that should be like $10. And that person has the nerve to come up to me and tell me, you know what I think? Nah, I don't know what you think. But check this out, homie. You can save today's pizza box and tomorrow's McDonald's bag. Save every one of those supersized cups you have, and if you smoke cigarettes, don't throw away any of those boxes. At the end of the year, I want to see who looks more wasteful. Who would you say the winner is? Everything that you spent your money on is either floating down the river or you blew it up in the sky. The only difference between us is that I actually have something to show for my money. So tell me again, what is it that you would do if you had my money? We're not afraid to be ourselves. So now you know where my mind is at when it comes to outsider opinions. I've never been afraid to be myself because as collectors, we don't follow trends. We follow passions. That means we're okay with liking things that aren't really mainstream. I like having things that other people don't have. The feeling I love is when somebody walks in my room and they're like, yo, where you get this from? Or like, yo, I've never seen this before. That's the reaction that I'm looking for when I'm displaying. Our collections are like a representation of our personality, and that's what separates them from each other. The same way we can have the same pair of pants or the same sneakers, but it's how we rock them that really speaks to who we are. We can have the same Captain America, but his might be in a museum pose while his are all dynamic. Someone else might have a shelf full of every single cap ever because that's his thing. And at the same time, my Captain America's taking a nap because Wolverine put him on his ass. We're not afraid to be ourselves because collecting is a part of who we are. If you ask me, collectors are even more in tune with who we are than non-collectors are. I know a lot of people buying shoes because they think that somebody else wants them. I feel like that every time I see a pair of Yeezys. A lot of people I know are driving cars and paying for notes because they know that somebody else likes the car. They're not buying things that makes them happy. They're buying things that makes other people happy so they can be accepted. But that's not who we are. And you could just take a look at the maximum series debate. Some of us are for it. Some of us aren't. Some of us are wait and see. And unless FOMO gets you, that's pretty much where you stand. That kind of honesty and self-awareness starts to transfer over to other parts of your life too. We stop hiding the things that make us us. And that kind of self-acceptance is rare, but it's something that us collectors refine every day. We own our space. When we build our collections, we're not just buying stuff, we're curating who we are. Every shelf, every pose, every piece of art, it's all a part of our identity. The best part about that is the fact that we're putting it on display. We're not putting figures up because we're showing off. The truth of the matter is no one is going to spend as much time in that room or that space as you are. We're doing it because we're creating something that feels like home, something that we've always wished to be home, or something that we've always known to be home. This is our comfort zone. A lot of other personal spaces aren't as well respected as a collection room either, so there's that. When I say that, I mean your pops might have a workout room or your moms may have a yoga room, and they don't mind if you pick up a dumbbell or use a mat. Your grandmother may have a sewing room, and she might not mind if you go in there and patch up a t-shirt every once in a while. Your brother might have a music studio in his room, and he doesn't mind if you go in there and drop a verse whenever the beat hits. But can you say the same thing about your collection room? My truth is that I have the same lock on this door as I do on my front doors. That's how serious I am. If I come home and you in my room, this room right here, you violate. What are you doing in my room? This is not a museum. We not doing walkthroughs. Put down your FaceTime because I could do without a home invasion. This is my personal space, and this room is invite only. A collection is personal, it's expressive, and it's intentional. And when we claim our space with that type of clarity, we show the world we know who we are, and we're proud of it. Patience and persistence. Collecting figures is definitely going to work on your patience, and the first thing we're going to learn is how to wait. Waiting for pre-orders, waiting for the mailman, waiting for restocks, waiting for the prices to drop, waiting for figures to go on clearance. We're going to be doing a lot of waiting. Sometimes we miss out and we start over, but we never quit. Going through that over and over kind of builds up this low-key discipline that non-collectors may not have or even understand. We have way more than just patience. We've built up our persistence, passion over popularity. You ever get introduced to somebody at a friend's house or at a party or something like that, and in your brain you're like, I don't like this guy. Why he wears hat like that? Why he walk like that? I think we can all kind of find reasons that we don't really vibe with somebody, even if it happens sparingly. It happens. Now, with collecting, that's not really the case. Some of the best people I've met in my life, I've met them through collecting. When you walk into Walmart or whatever, for the most part, people are doing their own things. People have tunnel vision and they're trying to get from point A to point B. Nobody trusts nobody. People are wary in the parking lot and nobody really wants strangers coming up to them. That's not really the case with collecting though, especially in a collector setting. Once you walk into a comic store or a collectible store or whatever, that energy hits different. You could be looking at figures or comics or whatever, and just one line can open everything up. You can go and reach for that maximum spider, and homie next to you can say something like, yeah, I had to pick that one up too. That's a goal right there. Then you like, yeah, I've been wanting this for a minute. I've been on the fence though because of the price. And boom. That's all it takes. That conversation right there can stretch for like 5 hours if you let that go on. When I walk into a comic store, they actually greet me. They say good morning or good afternoon. They actually acknowledge you. When I walk into Walmart, nobody cares. When you pull a worker to the side at a comic store or a venue, they take the time to go through everything with you. It's never a one-word answer, and most of the time, they add their personal experiences into it, which makes it even better. We're talking to somebody who knows exactly what it's like to be in your position. He didn't hear about this. He's living it. When I go to Target and I ask a worker about a new release that's coming out, they looking at me like I said something about their mother. The whole point is this. As a collector, we nullify everything that doesn't have to do with collecting when it comes to certain people. In our circle, homie could be cut from a whole different cloth. Y'all could be complete opposites. But when it comes to collecting, none of that really matters. Collectors see past surface level stuff. We don't care where you from, what you look like, or how much money you make. If you love this, like I love this, then we good. So how do you feel about collecting, and in what ways has it made you stronger? Have you ever had somebody try to criticize your collecting and you're looking at them like, I know you not talking? At the end of the day, people love to throw the word childish out when they don't understand something. But being a collector has never made me feel smaller. If anything, it's made me feel bigger, more confident, more focused, and more connected. So if you've ever felt weird about loving what you love, don't. Because if collecting has taught me anything, it's this. Real strength is being yourself. And that right there is what makes us stronger. Until next time. Peace.